Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murders of Cavett Watson and Columbus Campbell. Both died on October 6, 2008 in the 3400 block of West 63rd Street in Hyde Park, according to LA County coroner records. Javier Pellicer and Wayne Gray were subsequently arrested and charged with the murders. The following is the evidence at trial. Defendant Wayne Gray was a member of the Rolling 60s. Columbus Campbell, the victim, was also a Rolling 60s Crip. In September 2008, defendant was involved in a fight with Campbell in the presence of a famous rapper and Rolling 60s gang member. During the fight, Campbell struck defendant in a blindsided shot and cut his eye. Defendant suffered a black eye and Campbell won the fight. On October 6, 2008, defendant asked Pellicer, a fellow Rolling 60s gang member, to help him kill Campbell. Pellicer agreed. They found Campbell sleeping in a parked car with Watson on 63rd Street and Crenshaw Boulevard. Pellicer pulled his car next to Campbell's car, a white Mercedes. Defendant got out of the car and shot Campbell and Watson. Pellicer then drove away. The murders occurred within Rolling 60s territory. LAPD officer Thomas Callan arrived at the scene. He saw the white Mercedes with the windows shot out. Campbell's and Watson's bodies were inside. They both had been shot in the head. The police recovered 11 .40 caliber casings and an expended bullet. Kimberly Ramirez and a man were talking inside of a park in the vicinity of 3415 West 63rd Street in LA. As they exited their car, someone fired several gunshots from behind them. Ramirez ducked. She saw someone wearing dark clothing shoot at a parked white Mercedes-Benz. The shooter then got into a dark-colored Nissan of some sort that was parked next to the victim's car. The Nissan then drove away. LAPD Detective Ernesto Mendoza, who was assigned to the Criminal Gang Homicide Division, responded to the crime scene. He recovered 11 .40 caliber casings from the Mercedes-Benz. Detective Mendoza later determined that defendant Javier Pellicer owned the blue Nissan Altima. He drove by defendant's residence and saw the vehicle. On November 5, 2008, he directed officers to conduct surveillance on defendant. That day, defendant was detained. His vehicle was impounded, and later that day, defendant was released. In 2013, LAPD detectives Miguel Gutierrez and Eric Crossan were assigned to investigate the homicides of Campbell and Watson. Detective Gutierrez requested surveillance on defendant. On October 16, 2013, defendant was detained and brought into an interview room at the police station. Detective Gutierrez also set up a jail operation in place, whereby a confidential informant, or CI, would be placed in a cell. Detective Gutierrez then interviewed defendant, and the interview was recorded. During the interview, Detective Gutierrez wanted to stimulate defendant so that he would talk about the crime with the CI. Detective Gutierrez gave defendant a general location and date and time of the double homicide. Defendant was then placed in the jail cell with the CI. The CI asked defendant what he was charged with. Defendant replied, "The ultimate, 187. The CI asked defendant how long ago the crimes occurred, and defendant replied, 5 years ago. Defendant and the CI then talked about defendant getting picked up after 5 years. The CI told defendant that the police probably had his car branded but could not put him in the vehicle. Defendant replied that he had put paper plates on the car. The CI next told defendant, "You know what else you gotta worry about, homie? Get rid of the straps. Get rid of them." Defendant responded, "All of them are gone." Defendant explained that he sold it to a whole other neighborhood approximately 30 minutes away. The following exchange then occurred. Yeah. So, I didn't care, like, F it. What I didn't like afterwards, because there was a girl in there. There was like a effing 16-year-old girl in there. In there? In the car with homeboy. They were like effing asleep, like at 1 in the morning by a motel. Also, you guys rolled up on the car that was, so yeah, my homeboy, he's like, hold on, this fool's in the motel, because he had seen the car. Yeah, so you guys stopped. He stopped, but then he looked in the car and he's like, this mother effer sleeping in the car. But I didn't know there was a girl in there asleep too. So he had seen her too and just effing let him have it. He let them both have it? Yeah, they both. Okay, you know what? You gotta do that's pretty much it. You gotta do what you gotta do. Later in the conversation, defendant indicated that the 2008 shooting was a targeted shooting. They went looking for that fool because they knew where his whereabouts were. In Detective Gutierrez's opinion, defendant had confessed to being a driver in the 2008 double homicide. Thus, he generated a report of the jail operation and took it to the district attorney's office. LAPD officer Gilberto Gaxiola testified as a gang expert for the prosecution. In 2008, the Rollin 60s had approximately 2,000 members. Defendant Javier Pellicer was a Rollin 60s gang member with the moniker Tiny T-Bone. Co-defendant Wayne Gray's moniker was Domer. The Rollin 60s has different cliques that sometimes fight among themselves for power. It has a saying, "You're not a 60s gang member until you kill a 60s gang member." Given a hypothetical mirroring the facts of this case, Officer Gaxiola opined that the murders were committed for the benefit of and in association with a criminal street gang. Following his trial, the jury found defendant Javier Pellicer guilty as charged, including a gun and gang enhancement. The court sentenced defendant to life without the possibility of parole plus 65 years. Following his trial, the jury found defendant Wayne Gray guilty as charged, including gun and gang enhancements. The trial court sentenced defendant to 2 consecutive terms of life without the possibility of parole plus 100 years to life in state prison. Cavett Watson was 16 years old at the time of death. Columbus Campbell was 39 years old at the time of death.